Barcelona's own homegrown midfielder, Ferman Lopez, has quietly drawn a line in the sand. He will not leave the club unless the Blaugrana board itself asks him to. That stance, reported by Alfredo Martinez in Sport, landed like a calm promise rather than a theatrical proclamation. The kind of certainty you hear after a long training session, when voices are low and everyone is thinking. Picture the Camp Nou as the sun drops, the scent of trimmed grass hanging in the air. The stadium lights warming the turf like a slow spotlight, and a young player standing there with his hands on his knees, breathing steady. Convinced that his path is at the place that raised him. Those close to Fermin say this is not swagger, it is quiet conviction. He believes in his ability, wants to make an impact at Camp Nou, and is determined to carve a long-term future with Barca. Still, he is clear about one condition. If the club, for economic pressures or strategic reasons, advises that he should move on, he would listen. So the question hangs. What precise combination of cash, strategy or instruction would actually shift his resolve and send a homegrown midfielder away from the very club that raised him? Interest in Fermin has been real and serious, not idle chatter. Over recent months, several top European clubs have tracked his development and weighed whether he might fit their plans. Unai Emery's Aston Villa were reportedly the first to make a serious move. An early decisive inquiry that tested whether a player might be tempted by a fresh stage. Not long after, Manchester United and Chelsea were linked. Two clubs with heavy histories and deep transfer pockets that can change careers overnight. Of the suitors, Manchester United's approach was the most notable. Multiple reports suggested the Red Devils were prepared to table a formal offer exceeding €70 million. That's no token figure. It's the kind of money that forces conversations in boardrooms and makes clubs pause. And that leads to a sharper question for fans and directors alike. Which of these European heavyweights would have the appetite and the nerve to make an offer Barcelona could not refuse? Why would Barcelona even consider such a sale of a homegrown promise? The answer is blunt and financial. Barca operate within La Liga's 1-to-1 rule, a regulatory framework that ties spending to income and can be brutal when a club needs room to register players or renew contracts. An incoming fee in the region of €70 million would not just be a headline. It would have immediate practical consequences. It could rank among the most valuable sales in club history and provide an immediate solution to ongoing financial pressures. With that money, Barcelona could better comply with the 1-to-1 rule, enabling the registration of pending renewals and new signings that might otherwise be blocked by accounting limits. In plain terms, the cash would buy breathing room, the ability to finalise contracts and register players without another round of balance sheet contortions, and the potential to fund additional reinforcements the squad needs. That reality forces a difficult choice. Could the sale of a homegrown promise ever be justified as the price of short-term survival, even if it pains the heart of the club and its supporters? Even with those tempting, very public arguments on the table, Fermin's determination appears steady. Sources close to him insist he is fully convinced he will succeed at Barcelona, even amid fierce competition for minutes. And they say he prefers to stay and fight for his place rather than chase an immediate transfer. Inside the dressing room, he is valued. Teammates and staff praise his temperament, the way he trains, and his consistent approach to each session and match. His track record backs that assessment. Time and again, he has worked his way into squads, carved out minutes, and shown that persistence often leads to opportunity. At 22 years old, he occupies the space between raw promise and immediate easefulness. Young enough to grow rapidly, mature enough to contribute now. Sources underline that he believes patience, consistency, and quality will eventually secure him a starring role under Hansi Flick. The situation balances two realities: the club's ledger and a young player's quiet conviction. And unless a major surprise appears, Fermin looks set to remain in the blue and garnet, continuing to train, to push for minutes, and to wait for the moment his patience pays off. Will his resolve and the faith around him be enough? Or will the club's ledger decide his fate?